And okay, so welcome to the Forge Coffee Break. This is the episode number 31st episode of the Forge Coffee Break. Thank you for joining today, and welcome. So this is an open space for no general questions, general topics on Forge, and usually we do a quick open session for you, so you can ask your questions, share your thoughts, whatever you're working on over the last few weeks. Let me open to you. What are you working with these last few weeks? And I see a few other people from my team: Jaime, Jim, Balaji, not from our team. Hope I'm saying this right, Nedelko, right?
It's Nedelko, yes.
Nedelko. So let me open to you. Any questions, any thoughts, anything that you're working with, anything interesting?
Maybe I will start with my question.
Yes, please.
So I use that opportunity. I just want to download the JSON file. I have some design automation process for the inventor, and I created the JSON file in a bucket. I want to download it. Is it necessary to make it just like a signed URL? Or is it possible just take it down without?
So you have a design automation that
yes.
Once it's done, you want to download the results.
A result, yes, and the result is a JSON file. It is not IPT or EIM. It's not assembly. It's just a bunch of data for analyzing further. But that analyzing should be done on the client side. So that is very easy. If we are following the example on Forge, Learn Forge, we can make the link, and that link is with the signed URL and download it. It's possible to down automatically. When it is finished, download it automatically down on the file.
Yeah, so design automation will save back to the location that you specify. So on the samples, we usually save back to OSS. And after that, you can generate a signed URL and download from OSS, or just download directly. I think the question is, who's triggering the process? If you have a server in the middle, right, and a desktop client, you have to send from design automation to OSS. Then your server will get from OSS to your server, and your server will send back to the desktop client. So you have to think about where is the information. I would say that if it's a JSON payload, and I think there is a limit of 2 or 3 megabytes. I have to check on that. But you can send a JSON payload because it's just data. You can send that on the callback, so you don't have to save back on OSS. You can just say on succeed callback. You can just send back the JSON as a payload if you don't want to save that on OSS. You can just send the data. But no, it's just a minor thing. You can save to OSS and then send back to your client.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thank you for the question, quite interesting. Any other questions? I saw someone else was unmuting.
I could actually start.
Yes,
actually,
please.
I had a talk, one of your colleague, Shandong. So we're talking about compare model and BIM 360 different versions, so in specific parameters. So that's required to do kind of holistic search. So you download the JSON through model derivative API. You download them through 2 different versions, and then you try to, actually I'm doing it in that way. You put them in the database, and then you try to compare a table in order to see what have been changed between version to the other. Where if you're gonna use the BIM 360 comparing model, it would compare the entire model, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of computing, because we do like a lot of heavy construction, especially with rebars. So it has thousands of parameters. So until I hear that you're working on something very good and gonna be a very big surprise, at least for me, which is the indexing API for BIM 360, something like that, I heard.
Indexing API?
Yeah, kind of. It looked by index for each key value in the JSON. You can
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. One of the things that we are working with, and it's going to be described in more details at AU in next week or the week after, is we're working on a better way for you to query the data on your models. So instead of getting the entire data set, you can just say, give me this subset of the data, and you pass a filter, pass a search, and then it gives you back some of that result. So that's still a work in progress. But that's the plan, right? To have more access to more granular data. I think that's what we're talking, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because now what I'm doing it kind of manual, as I mentioned, that I'm downloading the model using the model derivative API from two different versions, because I'm working in small product, which is cutting CO2 emissions and stuff like that. Actually, I informed Autodesk about it, so they were really interesting. Yeah, so just to allow the client how he could see the differences based if he changed the kind of the material, and so he can see the differences. We can virtualize it either in the 3D viewer or Power BI or whatever third party. So it'd be very good if we can do it in that way. In one API, you can see the differences. It will be a lot of saving hours for me, at least in term. Every time you change something, you translate, you download it back, you see what's happening, like kind of holistic search.
Yeah, granular access to data, it's a topic that we are really investigating, and it's very good that you are bringing up this topic, right? So how can we have access to that data in different ways? Well, I think what you're talking is a version diff, so you know what have changed from version 1 to B, but not the whole thing, just a specific set of properties on the version diff, right?
Exactly. It's like kind of maybe it could be a value inside the key, whereas it's very sub somewhere like very, very, very down. And actually, it's become kind of trending, this topic in Denmark. Actually, Jim, you were visiting us at the office, and I took a picture. I took a picture with you, if you remember.
Yeah, and
in Copenhagen.
This area, when it comes to rebar, we're doing a bunch of work. We've done some recent optimizations with SVF2 for viewing. Now for data, Augusto talked about at Autodesk University in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about a new service that, let's say it's in private beta, we call Exchange, where you can basically just take the subset of a model and kind of move that back and forth instead of having to deal with, these huge RVTs. And initially it's going to be based on Revit views. So if you got a Revit view of just rebar, you'll be able to push and pull that kind of data quick without moving, gigabyte models and those kind of things. And there's one other thing, and again, probably doesn't affect what you're doing, but people who are interested in rebar, Revit 2023, so that's next year, not this year. There's a bunch of work in optimizing rebar to get the performance up a bunch. And we actually have the work done, and we're pretty 99% we're going to see it in 2023.
We're waiting for the surprise.
Cool.
Well, that brings up Augusto. Autodesk University is coming up in 2 weeks. What classes do you think people should go to?
Yeah, that's interesting, Jim. We are actually planning to have lightning sessions on the AU. So that will be from our team. The lightning sessions this year will be quite different. We are doing a very short lightning talk that will be very focused on one specific topic. So you can search like, how can I do this task? And there will be a small video showing how to do that thing with the APIs. So that's what our team is doing. It will be I think it'll be quite interesting because it'll be short and very focused instead of 15 minutes class. I think that in general, AU, what I'm really looking forward to see is the roadmap classes. There's a lot coming on the APIs, on the Forge platform, and the roadmap classes I think there's one from Cyril and one from Mikako on ACS. Those will be quite interesting. Those are my picks. What about you, Jim?
Well, clearly the roadmap class, because I get to talk.
Yeah.
No, but I'm wondering about these short lightning talks, because I think for most of us, 15 or 20 minutes is good enough, kind of YouTube length.
Yeah. This year will be 5 minutes. So we're trying to make it like very precise, like focus on the topic. It'll be interesting. All right. Thanks, Jim. Any other questions, topics? Today here we have João, which is new on our team, and he's doing very good work with many different APIs. He was actually working on a new sample, and was a lot of learning for him and for us as well to understand how it works, the resiliency, and he did a very interesting research and development on how to get all the folders and extract information from a lot of files. But I'll let him showcase his sample. And the sample is available, right, John? Can you show us where the sample is and how it works?
Yes, okay. Let me share my screen real quick here. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
All right, this is the blog post regarding the sample. As Augusto just mentioned, it's motivated by some requests from our customers. We had 2 requests recently for that. One from Tadi. Tadi, I guess he's not here. Let me check really quick.
He's always here, but he's not here today.
Yes. Only today. Bad luck. But let's move on. His interest is to review all of the content of a specific project. And by content, I mean the folders and the files inside all of the folders. You can check the blog post, and also the sample is available through using Heroku. So far, from now until now, we can look from B360 project and ACC. Let me click on a B360 project here. This one has some files. So when you click on a project, it's going to retrieve the top folders. And from there, every time we receive a new folder, it's going to reach our backend and retrieve all of the content, and doing this recursively. And by the end of these tasks, all of these 20 steps here, we are going to be able to see all of our folders, or if I change to this button here, all of our files available. And you can, let's say you want to focus on a specific folder. If I go to this full path right here, let me check this right here, your docs too. We can focus on this specific folder, all right? All of the files from that folder, and later on we can extract it. Another customer wanted to extract the information of all of the files available on B360, and this works as a deliverable by the end of our project, all right? So that's the main idea, and the main goal here is the recursion, how we do that recursively. All right.
And how to handle with rate limit, and how to make queue management. How do you manage the queue? Because there's a lot of jobs, right? There's a lot of things to run. How do you manage the queue?
Yes, the queue is managed on server side through using Hangfire, as this is a .NET sample. And what's working, let me go into more details. When we retrieve a folder, we are going to our backend and ask for all of its contents. And with that, we return the results for the client side, and it's going to update the status right here. So at the first step, we are going to have only one request being handled by our Hangfire queue. And when it is done, it's going to read the client side through SignalR, and the client side is going to do a quick call to retrieve the content. And I'm using MongoDB for storage. So it's going to store all of the information on MongoDB until we can retrieve from there, right?
Oh, really nice. So .NET, Hangfire, Mongo. What else are you using there?
For the table here, you're using the Bootstrap table, the API. It has it's really simple. It comes with the search engine right here. And it has also some really cool extensions. Some of that don't work quite well because the project seems to be abandoned. So, but yeah, I use it because it's really simple, and our other samples on BIM 360 use this same table for. So that's a good goal, and it's based on our tutorial, VR models
yeah.
tutorials, as you can see from this JS tree right here, this content tree. So if you want to go from there, expand from there using Node.js, you should not have much trouble.
Oh, really nice. Thank you. Questions? I asked a lot of questions already.
Yeah, I have a question, and I'm going to quickly get out of my technical depth. But we've had this situation where we have a few partners who are helping customers manage their BIM 360 instances and run model checks and do archiving and things of that sort. But when your BIM 360 instance has 500 projects, 10,000 folders, 50,000 drawings, and you're trying to track every time there's a change, this kind of iterative approach where you kind of walk down, I'll call it the stack every time, is slow. And it's kind of resource intensive having to kind of walk the tree versus keeping some kind of, you would think BIM 360 would keep some kind of compact representation and like a JSON string of the whole tree. So you don't have to kind of figure the tree out yourself to figure out what's new and what's different. Yeah. Because it's painful when it's a big user of BIM 360. And when people talk about, well, I can use webhooks, and webhooks we know aren't bulletproof. Your server's down for a day, you miss all the notifications. So you kind of have to walk this tree on a periodic basis.
There is data connector also as an option for that, but for this approach specific, there is actually no way around. Right?
Yeah.
I'm actually, I've got an idea for you, Jim.
Yeah,
I've got an idea for you, Jim. If there was a hash calculated at the top of each folder or the top of each project or hub, and that hash was a summation of the any changes in its children, you would just do a traversal. You just keep a hash, a cache in your database, like MongoDB. This is a syncing problem. So you would use the hash stored in your database, and then you just start at the top of the tree and iterate through. And whenever the hash is the same, you don't iterate into the children. If the hash is changed, then you traverse down. And so that's a very optimal way of finding deltas in the tree at any time. So BIM 360 would have to calculate the hash, and then you would do a very, 2 or 3 requests to quickly determine change, bulk changes. So when you do have 50,000 drawings and they're changing every, couple minutes, then this would be a very fast approach to finding those changes every 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good solution for it, Michael. Yeah, we can definitely send that request. That would be interesting.
Yeah, we need to take that up with like Macaco and Jim Gray.
Yeah.
And Michael, your approach would be, this would be easy. This is lightweight. This is not some big complex, track history solution.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Sean. That was quite interesting. I think the source code is also available, right? Can you share the link with us?
Yes, I'm gonna post it here on the chat window.
And any questions for John on his sample?
It's really great actually, but I wish it had been done that like a couple of months ago, because I ran into the same problem that I need to find all the Revit files, filter all our BIM 360 hub, and find the Revit files and see all of which one is cloud share, and see which links, and then go there, see if they need to be published, and if they need to be published, publish them, and then get the data, aggregate it, take whatever you want, and view it in the 3D viewer. So it was a lot of architect behind it. So I almost use most the APIs you get in Forge documentation. Actually, if allow me, I can show you fast.
Yeah, sure, please.
Let me share here. So actually, I built a small web app like a couple of weeks ago. So basically, you go inside the small app, and then, for instance, you write something. So here it go look for all BIM 360 and all project recursively, and then it bring all the files, the Revit files I'm interested. There's a lot of filters. So say I need only the Revit file.rvt, which is a cloud share, something like that, and then bring them to me. And then when it bring them to me, I need to run different functions. For instance, as you know, you are allowed to publish once a week through BIM 360. So for instance, if you select one of the project, you say publish, you say agree, it go publish. But at least if it needs to publish, it will come something. It will say you need to publish because it hit on.
Oops, we lost
I
him.
think we lost him. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
He's back. You're back. Hello.
Unmute.
Yeah, and you're muted.
Okay, now I'm back. So basically, after it go look through everything.
Oh,
Or a bed.
I think the sample might be crashing
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff running locally.
I suspect he's running through the tree every time he clicks on it, so it's making a lot of
Yeah.
requests. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
crashing
exactly.
his connection.
That's what I think it's happening.
Hey, Jaime, have you got a haircut yet?
No. Well, I did actually. Technically, I did, but so instead of actually coming all the way down here, now it goes to here. So I did.
So, Abed, are you back?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yes,
back,
okay.
but it's weird because it's freeze my screen now.
I think we're debating if your application is making a lot of requests and that is
Yeah,
cutting your connection.
I think
But-
the answer might be yes.
yeah, I guess so. But anyway, and then it could show, for instance, a lot of stuff, like you aggregate them.
What are you using for development? Is it Node, .NET? What do you have on your server side?
I'm using mostly TypeScript with Node.js, but I'm using something really nice, Nest.js, which is framework built on from Node.js.
Mm-hmm.
Called Nest. It's really cool.
And if I might ask, what are you using on the front end?
React.
React. Okay, cool.
So the whole idea that I'm trying to reach a level that my colleague, the engineer, he just need to do his stuff in Revit, and he just need to synchronize to the cloud. And he come the day after, he can see all the schedule, build it by itself, because all of it could done in the back end, and it calculate all the stuff. And it doesn't matter where he stored the files.
Okay, so you're saying that your the system is that someone can trigger a process to calculate the schedule and come back next day and everything is ready.
Yeah, because no need to do the schedule at all in Revit side, because all the data is stored either at the viewer or in model derivative API. So in one API call, you can get all the data for that specific model.
Okay. When
So
you
you
say
can-
schedule, what do you mean?
In Revit, when you do scheduling, how many walls,
okay.
how many parameters,
Counting.
because all of that is in, you can trigger them from the 3D viewer. So if you see my screen now, so for instance,
we can
this,
see it. You're not sharing.
Okay. Now I'm sharing. So if you see
Now
my
it's
screen
coming.
now,
Yes.
so you can see this model. It need to be published. It need to be published. Need to be published because already it's without webhook, because it could hit an API and it's in the documentation actually. it will say that this model it's allowed to be published. So you can publish it. So we don't need to wait for instance, a week in BIM 360 to run like automatic publish. Of course, it will cost, but something like that. But the good things, when you click on one of the model, you can say project metadata. It will load all the project metadata. It's actually this is not much inside, but anyway, it brings all the data. For instance, the name, a lot of stuff. But go back, you can select another model. It can bring all the data from the 3D viewer. Because we have to
yeah, it's cutting off a bit, right? Oops, we lost him again. Yeah, it's really unstable.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for this very nice demo. Maybe have you showcase us more on the next time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, now I need to, and also we run out of time.
Yeah, almost there. I just have one. Vaish, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I just want to. I'm running into one issue that I think has been repeated on this forum a couple of times. We are trying to load a very big model for light rail project, and it crashes the BIM 360 viewer as well as the Forge viewer. And I'm experimenting with not trying to load the property DB because it has a lot of Revit files aggregated into a Navisource model, and all the Revit files has a huge DB behind it. So I'm just trying to not load the property DB. But last meeting we discussed a blog post by Brian. And I'm running into the issues while trying to implement that. The skip property DB property, when setting to false, it breaks the selection of the objects.
Okay.
And I can share my screen or create a ticket, or I don't know how to.
Yeah, so that would be a very deep debugging on it. What I would suggest you is to go to the Calendly, Autodesk Forge Calendly, and book a time with one of our team members, and we can definitely help you look at it. Let me show you again, calendly.com, Autodesk Forge, and you can select any of us that is available on your time zone. And no, you see people with expertise here. So no, let's say Izan, he knows viewer, he knows model derivative. So just select his name or anyone's name and see a time that is available that meets your time zone and book a time.
Sure. Yeah, I've done that. Okay.
And then we can look at your code, because that will be very specific looking at your code.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Just answering. Yeah. Just before you jump off there, Augusto, the properties database contains DBIDs, and it's needed for doing selection, hit testing. And it cannot select an object, a DBI. It cannot select an object in the scene without the property DB. So when you skip that property DB, you won't be able to do selection.
Okay. Click and direct, then you need the property DB to select.
Yeah. Feel free to feel free to send an email to, and also if you want, send an email to forge.help@autodesk.com, and I'll look for the request, and we can sort of walk through.
Sure. Okay. Thanks.
Perfect.
If that
Thank you,
helps.
Michael. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Just before we wrap up, we have the hackathon, and Jaime is our main organizer.
Yes. So if you haven't signed up, it's still a chance for you to sign up. We have around 110 registrations so far, so we still have space for some of you. We do have upcoming amazing prizes. We're gonna try something on Friday, actually, which is gonna be kind of like a virtual gathering using an app called Spatial Chat. So you're gonna have a chance to get to meet some of the other attendees. If you don't have a team, you can always look for a team on those in that space, and also get a chance to do a pitch of what you are intended to work on. We have 5 challenges. We have 5 amazing judges also that are going to be helping us out during the event to grade your applications. And if you're a winner, you're going to get a chance to do showcase your app during AU, the week of AU. So, like I said, if you haven't signed up, I would recommend go ahead and do it. We did have a lot of fun last year, and we also gave like pretty cool, amazing prizes. They're not the usual kind of like things to give away. Since we're not traveling, we do have a little bit of budget for rewarding you for your time. So definitely join it.
Thank you, Jaime. And the showcase will be quite interesting on the 5th, right? That will be for the entire EU. How many people we had at the showcase last year? I think it was a big audience, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. We streamed through YouTube as well. I don't think we're gonna do that this year since we're gonna be using the AU platform, but we did have quite a lot of people. I don't remember if we reached out to the like 4 figures itself, but it was quite a lot. So definitely sign up and get to hacking. I know Abed will like the hacking side of it.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So here are the judges, and yeah, the showcase is a good chance to showcase your expertise to a lot of people, right? So that's also quite interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we are at time, so let me quickly share again here. Usually, next coffee break will be in 2 weeks. That next coffee break will be very special. Will be during AU. So Wednesday at the week of AU, we're going to be discussing what's happening in the hackathon. Maybe showcase some of the things that happen at AU and the hackathon. So again, see you in 2 weeks. Same link, same time, and welcome to. We're very nice to have you here again. See you in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you, guys.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jim.
Hey,
Bye, Kevin.
Augusto, send me your stream.